Hey, it's me. Today I want to talk about something that might be at the heart of your deepest longing, the experience of inner harmony, and how that harmony depends on three things. First, a positive and loving view of life itself. Second, the courage to love without fear. And third, a healthy balance between doing and simply being. Together, these three open the door to self-fulfillment, and they all rely on one thing: waking up the deepest part of who you are, what we've been calling your real self. So let's start with how you see life. When your life is led mostly by your ego, the part of you that tries to control everything, it's impossible to trust life. It's hard to feel safe enough to love, and it's really hard to find a balanced rhythm between action and rest. That's because the ego doesn't know the full truth. It operates out of fear. And when you see life as something to defend yourself against, you begin to believe that life is against you, that it's cold, unsafe, hostile. This belief doesn't just sit there, it shapes your life. When you carry around negative assumptions about life, you live defensively, you brace yourself, you close up, and in doing so, you unknowingly invite more struggle, more isolation, more hurt. When you go deeper, when you begin to awaken that spark within, the part of you that is wise and whole, you start to feel something different. You begin to sense that life is actually for you, that at its core, life is good, that you belong here, that it's safe to open. This shift is powerful. It doesn't happen overnight, though. It begins with awareness. You start to notice the patterns, the ways you protect yourself through habits, reactions, or even certain personality traits. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's withdrawal, judgment, perfectionism. These patterns are trying to protect you from pain. They're built on false assumptions. So we start asking questions. Is this belief really true? What would happen if I didn't act this way? How does this part of me affect the people I love? What would happen if I dropped this old way of protecting myself? These honest questions open a door. And when you see that your defenses aren't actually helping, that they're hurting you and others, you naturally begin to release them. Not through force, through clarity, through love. And that brings us to the second piece: fearlessness in love. So many of our struggles, our restlessness, our anxiety, our pain, come from one deep place: the fear of loving fully. This fear might show up in subtle ways. Maybe you hold back. Maybe you feel vulnerable when you care too much. Maybe you fear being hurt, rejected, or abandoned. The most natural state of your being is love. The most natural state of your being is love. Real love doesn't need to be forced. It doesn't come from the mind. It flows from your innermost self, like a river that knows exactly where it's going. If you're afraid of that flow, you block it. You try to define it, control it, intellectualize it. You wait for love to come to you from the outside instead of realizing it's already inside you. And here's how you can tell what is real love. Love is anything that brings union, connection, inclusion, expansion. Anything that helps you experience the goodness of life, the sacredness of all things. The opposite of love isn't hate. It's separation. It's stagnation. It's a kind of inner death, a numbness. And strangely, we often cling to that because we think it's safer. That safety is an illusion. At some point on your journey, you're going to come face to face with the ways you still resist love. You might notice you've been pretending, that you've convinced yourself you're open when in certain areas you're actually shut down. That can be painful to admit. And it's freeing because it allows you to choose again. Look at the areas where you do love, where you feel open, soft, connected. And then look at the places you don't. Compare them. Notice what's different. You might begin to see that the fear you had around love wasn't true. That love doesn't weaken you. It strengthens you. It aligns you. It's the only thing that actually makes you feel whole. Again, this can't be forced. You can't make yourself love from your ego. That never works. Real love arises naturally when you're connected to your real self, when you've made it safe enough inside to trust life again. And that brings us to the third piece, balance. A healthy rhythm between activity and passivity, between doing and being. Some people crave passivity. They long for peace, but confuse it with stillness, numbness, withdrawal. Others are always busy, afraid of what they'll find in stillness. Either way, both are out of balance. True being isn't motionless. It has a rhythm like breath, like music, like waves. And real activity isn't about striving. It can be peaceful, aligned, effortless. In the highest state of consciousness, action and stillness are not opposites. They're one. Every creative act, whether it's work, love, rest, or expression, contains both. If you're only in your ego, you'll likely feel that action is exhausting, overwhelming, or even meaningless. But if you're connected to your real self, action becomes joyful, clear, alive. You're no longer pushing or performing. You're simply moving with life. When you're disconnected, you may try to force love from your ego. You may try to avoid action to preserve energy. You may crave passivity only to find it leaves you feeling even more empty. This is because you've locked the door to your real self. And love can't flow through a locked door. So what's the answer? You have to be willing to try. Even if it feels like you're just pretending at first. You have to speak from the ego and say, I want to connect. I'm open to this. And then commit to that desire, even if it's faint. That's all it takes to begin. because your real self is always ready to meet you. And the more you open the door, the more you'll experience the peace, the power, and the love that has been waiting for you all along. Love you. Connect soon.